Rise and shine, you dumper brain babies. Today's video is going to be a little bit different, a little bit wacky, maybe even a little bit infantile. Why such intrigue? So strap in, pop your pacifiers, and shit your pants. We got a video to make. Babies, the universal level 1 of every human being on the planet. Except for Paul Rudd. He just kind of came out of the womb like that.
No cap.
Also, even though this video is about tiny little humans, it's not really made for them, so, I mean, like, I'm sorry, if you're part of the baby community and you clicked on this looking for tips and tricks, my apologies. Low-key, I've bin thinking about this concept for years at this point, probably ever since my niece was super little.
What'd you see at the store?
I see a fucking spoon and a big giant fucking spoon.
Now, to be clear, I'm not talking about all that goo-goo gah-gah bullshit. Fucking bullshit. And I'm also not talking about adults talking in baby voices either, because that's just fucking weird.
Boopy doopy doop boop sex.
Nah, today we're talking about fictional children characters, ages 3 and under, in movies, TV shows, commercials, whatever, that talk in a lower registered voice than their expected one.
Wow.
Quick BTW, my sources are down in the description if you want to deep dive on this subject yourself. So, with that stated, let's start where we normally wrap up the show with some honorable mentions. These selections, although worth mentioning, either don't fall into the specific child talks like an adult genre, or I simply didn't know about their existence beforehand. First, we gotta give some love to the Rugrats. For those that don't know, Rugrats was an American cartoon show that lasted 9 seasons that centered around a group full of babies and their everyday lives. Much like the show Friends. Personally, I didn't watch the Rugrats series that often since we didn't have cable when I was growing up. But you already know your boy would go down to his local Family Video, hop on over to the kids section, and cash in his free rental for Rugrats in Paris, the movie! And I may or may not be thinking about making a video on that specific cinematic masterpiece, so if that's something you'd be interested in, let me know after you hit subscribe, okay? Also, apparently the Rugrats series is being revived sometime next year, so that's pretty cool. Here's some other honorable mentions. They're a bit more obscure, and for some of them, I couldn't even find the examples of the babies talking like adults in them.
Hi, Staatsminister! Imperberist! Talk!
Alright, with all of those mentioned, let's transition over to the prime examples of this trend with animated and cartoon babies. You're probably familiar with the most famous example of Stewie Griffin in Family Guy, but honestly, I'm not that big on that show, and we have so many other examples to get to that this is about the extent I'm gonna mention it.
If he wants to throw hands, I'll throw hands. I tell you how to.
One of the earliest examples of babies talking like adults comes from the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit, with the character of Baby Herman. The movie starts out like your standard Saturday morning cartoon, but after the first scene ends, Baby Herman starts talking like a 50-year-old misogynistic mob boss.
For crying out loud, Roger! How many times do we have to do this damn scene? No! I'll be in my trailer, taking a nap! Excuse me, Toots.
Moving on to a more modern example, the 3D animated movie Boss Baby recently revitalized the trend of babies talking like adults through the power of Alec Baldwin's voice. I'm not really a fan of this entry, more so just the memeness behind it all, but it's got its charm to it. However, just like every other kids franchise these days, Boss Baby is already overstaying its welcome through a Netflix series and soon a sequel feature film. So that pretty much wraps up our animated examples, which means we're about to transition to the prime entries of live action baby talking, yeah! If you were a kid of the 90s, you may recognize the next 2 examples of Baby Geniuses and Look Who's Talking. Baby Geniuses was a comedic story about toddlers doing some underground need-to-know shit while their parents remained completely oblivious.
Get ready. Naps are history.
I don't know what you're feeding that kid, but we're gonna get some.
Look Who's Talking, on the other hand, follows a single mom searching for a father for her child, as voiced and dubbed by Bruce Willis.
What a sweetie.
You must be thinking the same thing I am.
Lunch.
Why is the boob humor so rampant in these examples? Either way, both did terribly with audiences and critics, and I wonder why.
This is Dr. Kender we're talking about, not Dr. Frankenstein.
Those are the last of the movie examples, so let's transition over to TV with a series that, frankly, is kind of a fever dream for myself and the ones that do remember it, Baby Bob. Lasting a total of 14 episodes, this 2002 CBS series followed a baby named Bob in which, get this, he knows how to talk.
It's the cow.
Mommy, don't be silly. Cows don't talk, they just moo.
I vaguely remember loving this show, but then again, I was 6 years old when it came out, so that's probably why.
When did you realize that you could...
Talk?
Yeah.
To be honest, a couple weeks ago, all these things were going on in my head, and the next thing I knew, they were coming out of my mouth.
Honey, could you... Thank you.
But after rewatching the pilot, maybe it's a good thing that this show faded from the public eye.
Why did I even name you Walter?
So that I'd get beat up every day by kids named Jamal and Loco?
Okay, dumpers, the moment you've all been waiting for, the ultimate example of a child talking like an adult in media. The E-Trade Baby. Originally airing on broadcast and cable television in the mid-2000s, E-Trade executed a marketing tactic involving a baby speaking like an adult in the majority of their commercials.
Yeah, I'm always reading about how this market is so tough, you know? I tell people, go to E-Trade, you know? Bless you, Peppers.
The campaign lasted 7 years and even featured the voice of actor and comedian Pete Holmes. Is that a cow? Hey, rise and shine, you dumper brain babies. What's going on? All right, with all of those mentioned, let's transition over to blah, 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 blah. But you already know, wow. So you're probably wondering, Andy, why should I care about some dumb baby shit? Well, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know. So, I guess my brand of humor is dramatic irony mixed with a dash of randomness, so toddlers talking like adults is apparently right up my alley. I just figured this subject hasn't really been covered in a video format yet, plus I can't be the only one that finds this trend kind of bizarre, right? If I had to give a closing thesis statement for this video, I'd say that babies talking like adults will always be a comedic outlet for creators in one way or another, whether through animated or live action mediums. Well guys, this one was weird. Thank you for staying through till the end. I had a blast with it. Keep an eye out for this stuff, and if there's anything that I missed or if you find anything, let me know down there in the comments. Major shout out to Jeff Keeley for becoming the latest super duper dude over on Patreon. If you want to support the channel and get access to exclusive bonus content, you can check out that link down in the description down below. These are my socials, but as always guys, I've been Andy, you have been Danny, and thank you for watching.